I'm joined now by the CES Bantamweight champion, Tony Gravely, who is getting ready to fight Ray Rodriguez on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, August the 13th. It's right around the corner, my man. How you doing?
Yes, sir. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me back on again.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm very excited for you to get this opportunity. It's been long overdue, and you're going in against a tough opponent, which is nothing that you're not already used to. This is what you get every time you step into the cage at this point in your career. So, having said that, how has this camp been, and how healthy are you feeling heading into the big night?
Oh, it's been great. I've been very fortunate. I say this all the time. My life is a training camp, so I'm always um, prepared to fight and prepared to work hard. So every day I work hard, regardless of if it's a fight or not. But when it is a fight, usually obviously um, you're gearing you have a target now. There's a target when you're training without an opponent, but now there's a very small target, if that makes sense, as far as where to focus on. And I'm excited about this fight. I know Ray has a lot of fights, just like me. I actually have more fights, but he's been fighting longer than I have, and that's most fighters that I fight have been fighting longer than I have. But I'm excited to fight a tough opponent. I I enjoy tough fights because it's only going to make me better. So I hope this is tough, and I'm training as if this is the toughest fight I'm ever going to have.
Tell me a little bit about when you found out that you got this call and you're going to be fighting in front of Dana White and the UFC brass, and just tell me what your emotions were and who the first person you told was.
It was I think I was not sure what I was doing, but I got it through email first, and the email, it was funny. The email was kind of like it was from Sean Shelby, and he was like, he said, me versus Ray Rodriguez. Let us know if you're interested. Like, of course I'm interested. Like, why wouldn't I be interested? But I think it kind of took a while for it to sink in, just because we went so long without being able to announce it. We had to wait until ESPN announced it. Technically, we're supposed to. Some fighters announced a little sooner, but I tried to go by what they told me to do. But it almost like it was hard to kind of believe at first. Then they flew us out to do all the promo the end of June, I think. So it obviously that made it more real, because you're there, you're doing all the stuff, pictures, interviews, all the stuff you see, all the pretty stuff, all the TV stuff. So which was really cool. So but I probably the first person that found out, obviously other than my coach, was my wife. She was with me, and my mom was probably the next after that. Then obviously my dad, and really close friends. So.
And they must have all just been so happy for you, right? I mean, you've been putting in the work for such a long time. It just must have been almost a relief, not just to yourself, but to people close to you, that you're finally going to get this shot to prove yourself.
It was. It's everybody knows that there's no secret what I've been looking to do as far as a fighter. I want to be in the UFC, and that's been the goal since I was a child. And people understand how important that is to me. And just to see how genuinely happy they are, not just my immediate family, but so many people on Facebook and other social media, just to see how happy they are for me. It just means a lot. It makes it that much more special, because it's not just for me, it's for us as well.
So who's going to be making the trip with you to Vegas? Obviously, your head coach, but who's going to be in your corner, and will your wife and your parents be making the trip down as well?
Yes, my corner will be my coach and my wife. My wife always corners me. She gets really nervous, and I think just being in there kind of calms her down. And I like her being there too, because it's since from the start, it's almost always been her in the corner and my coach Perry in the corner. So it's the same as far as any other fight. How I approach it, how we approach it, how I mentally and psychologically and emotionally approach it is the same. So have the same people in my corner. If I could have more corners, I'd have my dad there. but we're gonna say that for when I actually when I make my debut, he'll be in the corner. But my parents are coming, my sister, cousins, uncles. I've got they gave us 10 tickets. I've got 10 people coming, and I got some people that are already going to be out there that I know that are going to try to get them at the door. I heard if you get there pretty early, they have like a certain amount that they let in, and they're going to try really hard to get in. So, hopefully they get in, and hopefully I see some. I'll probably see some people that I know that that I had no clue was going to be there, just maybe from not seeing in other fights or anything. But I'm excited to get to. I'm still surprised that there's so many people that's actually going to make the trip. Because I've fought up north a ton, and sometimes most of the time it's my wife, obviously my coaches, my parents, and my sister, and but to have like 5-6 other people to experience this with me is just really cool.
Well, you deserve it, my man, and all the support that you're getting, I'm sure it's just going to continue as your career evolves, and rightfully so. Now, the fight is just a little under 2 weeks away now. What's your weight at? How much more do you have to cut to make the 135-pound limit?
I actually haven't started cutting yet. I'm a small bantamweight. I probably walk around between probably around like 147, 148. So I don't cut a lot of weight. Most fighters usually, I guess, probably weigh around 55, 155, 160. But I'm pretty small, and I think that's another reason. That's one of the reasons why I've been able to be so active, and also why my cardio is a lot better than the guys that are bigger, because I don't have to deplete my body as much as the average fighter, and so I probably won't start my weight cut until a week from weigh-in day, pretty much, and then it goes down pretty quick. I have to eat so much, I work out so much, so I have to eat so much to maintain what I have. So when I stop snacking, my weight comes off so much easier. So I'm still snacking and doing stuff like that. So once I stop snacking next week, it'll come off pretty easy.
Right. So life is good right now, is what you're saying. You don't have to get to that part where maybe it's not quite as hard as it is for other fighters, but it's still got to be relatively difficult just to get that last little bit off, right?
It is. I mean, it's something that I've done majority of my life as far as cutting weight, and that's one of the reasons why now I think I went through the phase where you want to be the bigger guy and you want to cut the weight, and it works well for some people, and others it doesn't. For me, I feel like I'm better off when I am not cutting a lot of weight, just because my style of fighting, I have to exert a lot of energy, and if I'm used to exerting energy and I don't have that energy to exert, that's a scary feeling. So, I'll always do my best to. I'd much rather be the smallest, but be in the best shape. And even though I'm the smallest, I've never been physically overpowered by anybody or anything like that. So honestly, I feel like there's really no reason to have to deplete my body and go down just so I can be a bigger fighter.
Well, it's been working for you pretty good so far, so you're doing something right. Now, your last fight was against Darren Mima, and very impressive performance. Congratulations on the victory. I got to ask, did you feel a little extra pressure, not just to get that win, but to win convincingly?
No, I didn't. I mean, I go in every fight, and I don't. There's always pressure because I put pressure on myself. I want to perform well, not only because I want to dominate people, but because I know that, I want to be impressive to fans and to the UFC. But I didn't have any extra pressure. I always feel like I want to go out there and I want to do well. And I've gotten to a point now where I always want to finish, but I don't rush finishes. So I've learned that you can't always rush a finish. You have to be patient, and it'll come. I just keep pressing forward, doing what I'm doing. Whatever's working, I keep making it work until I keep sticking with it until they quit or they give me something that I know I can capitalize on. And that's pretty much what I did in that fight. I just kept on. I kept the pressure on him. Kept striking when I could. I could feel him. He's getting tired. I could feel him almost like he wanted a way out, and I just gave it to him.
Having said all that too, everyone knows for Contender Series, especially, what Dana White is looking for is first round finishes. He wants a highlight reel knockout or submission or whatever it may be. So is that going to impact your normal game plan? Are you going to come out a little bit more aggressive than you normally would? Or are you just going to do your thing and just let the chips fall where they may?
At first, I was, I watched especially the first episode, and there were like no finishes. And he was saying, "Let me reiterate this. I'm looking for killers. I'm looking for finishes." Man, I really need to finish. And the more I thought about it, I've never went out there and thought, "Oh, I need to finish. Oh, I need to finish." But the times that I haven't thought that are all the times I got finishes. So I've got 6 straight finishes. I went from unanimous decisions, a bunch of them in a row, to now a bunch of finishes in a row. And the only difference is just being more patient and not rushing to finish. I don't go out there looking for finishes, but I know that it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm just going to keep on going until one way or the other it happens. So with that being said, I say that now. It's when it happens, it's probably gonna be a little different. I'm gonna do my best to keep the same mentality, because what I've done so far, obviously they like, obviously, or I wouldn't be on the show. So I think if I just fight how I usually fight, like what they see.
Now, obviously, this is going to be a little bit different of a setting than what you're normally used to. Fighting for CES, there's a lot of people there. They're making a lot of noise. You probably aren't going to be hearing, your family and loved ones like you will come the 13th. They'll be right there because it's a small amount of people that are there. Do you think that's going to affect your nerves at all? Or, because it's going to be different. It's going to be something that you haven't experienced before.
It is going to be different, especially, it's really quiet. There's no walkout song. They just kick the doors open, and then you either hear people screaming or you don't. And I feel like in a fight, you've got like tunnel vision, and you almost don't hear that anyway. You almost don't hear the music, and you hear cheering. And a lot of times, like, I'm always fighting away, so it's not like I'm ever, people usually cheer more for who I'm fighting anyway. So I'm used to it in that way. But the fact that it's going to be quiet, my family, they make a lot of noise, so I'm going to hear them. I'm going to hear them. They're going to be yelling, and, that's going to be, I think, if anything, that's going to be extra motivation that I can, it's a more intimate setting because you can hear your people. You could probably see them a lot better. So, I think if anything, it's going to be extra motivation to hear them and it to be somewhat quiet, and I can probably hear them a little better than, if it was a normal fight. But, either way, I'm looking forward to whatever adversity comes. I've been playing over my head. Everybody plays fights over in the head, from the walkout to the warm up to, everything before, what it feels like, what the jitters feel like before. And this is going to be a little different because I haven't been in this setting. It's going to be more pressure, but I have to contain that pressure and understand that the pressure is what I make it. I can, just like any other fight, you either can take the pressure and let it break you and let it get you nervous, or you can take it and make it push you to perform the best you can. And that's what I'm looking to do.
Now, your opponent, if I'm not mistaken, 8 of his 15 victories as a professional come by way of submission. So have you been paying a little bit more attention to your BJJ and your ground game in this camp, or does that not really matter at this point? You're just going to go and do what you do?
I've been, just like any other fight, I always look to try to better every part of my fighting, striking, grappling, wrestling, everything. I want to be the best everywhere, which is really hard to do, but that's the goal, is to be the best everywhere. So I haven't necessarily focused more on one aspect over the other. I'm aware that he is a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's got a lot of submissions. I feel like his style of jiu-jitsu is more of a top type jiu-jitsu guy, and as a wrestler, I think it's going to be pretty hard for him to get on top of me and implement that, and I've seen fights where obviously you watch fights on people. I've seen fights where um, I guess it was his last fight for LFA, and just how he reacted with somebody on top of him. I don't think he's going to be used to having somebody on top of him, putting a lot of pressure on him, and throwing strikes and just being consistently a hassle for him on top. And I don't think he's going to be able to. I'm sure he's going to throw up submissions from the bottom. Everybody throws up submissions on me. I'm ready to defend and use that opening for a finish, and that's what I'm going to look to do if it reaches that point.
Sure. Do you see any other weaknesses in his game that you feel like you can exploit? Do you feel like you're better on the feet, or is this a case where you're just going to use your wrestling and just kind of smother him and control him, and eventually maybe get a finish via submission or ground and pound?
I feel like I am better on the feet. A lot of people haven't seen my stand up just because I wrestle a lot because for one reason I wrestled my whole life, and that's just like my second nature. That's where I'm the most comfortable. And two, it gets people really tired because I can wrestle for an hour straight on somebody. A lot of people can't do that. If I need to do that, I can do that. So a lot of people haven't quite seen my stand up, but I think I am better on the feet. I know I'm better on the feet. And whatever is working is what I'm going to stick with. So if it's striking, if I'm hurting on the feet, I'm going to stay on the feet and hurt them. If it's me taking them down and I'll do that. Whatever it's going to take to get the end result I want, which is a finish and a contract, I'm willing to do.
Well, Tony, I'm cheering for you, my man. It's been a pleasure watching your career progress and fighting for CES. You're very, very deserving to be in this position. I hope you get the finish. I hope you get the contract and move on to the UFC. As always, thank you for the time. Before I let you go, if anyone you want to thank or any sponsors you have, the floor is yours.
Well, I've got a lot of thank yous. I'll try to condense it. First, I'd like to thank my wife. I'd like to thank my parents, my coaches, my teammates, family, friends, everybody that loves and supports me. I've got a lot of people that support me from a lot of different places, people that I know and don't know. So everybody that supports me, I truly appreciate it. And, I couldn't be more grateful for everything that I have, all the people that love and support me. And thank you for this platform and this interview.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my friend. Anyone out there that wants to watch Tony get this UFC contract, make sure you get your ESPN Plus subscription now. You don't want to miss this one. August 13th against Ray Rodriguez. Thanks for the time, buddy. Best of luck as the last week and a half rolls by, and we'll be talking again soon.
Thank you so much.